right, so we can get started. So thank you guys for coming. This is the webinar for how to accept your offer of admission for full-time programs. I'm going to be presenting. I'm Lily. I'm a graduating student from the respiratory therapy program. And Cynthia is here as well, I believe, and she's a current student in the respiratory therapy program. And then we have our admissions and recruitment team as well with us. We have Catherine. If you guys want to introduce yourselves.
Sure. Hi,
Catherine?
everyone. My name's Catherine. I am the admissions coordinator at Michener. Congratulations on your offers and happy to see you today.
Okay, and then Kevin, if you want to introduce yourself.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'm the Associate Registrar. Thank you.
Okay, and Lucas.
Hello, everyone. My name is Lucas. I am one of the admissions officer here at Michener. Welcome.
And last but not least, Lauren.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to this webinar. I'm Lauren. I'm one of the admissions officers.
Thank you, guys. All right, we want to start off this webinar by doing our land acknowledgement. We just want to acknowledge that Michener is the sacred land where we are today, which has been and continues to be the traditional territory of the Huron-Wendat and the Seneca and the Mississaugas of the Credit River, among many other unnamed and unrecognized Indigenous communities. At this location, we stand on land protected by the Dish with One Spoon Treaty between the Anishinaabe, Mississaugas, and Haudenosaunee that bound them to share the territory and protect the land. We recognize this agreement not as a thing of the past, but as a promise today and into the future. We must share the responsibility of ensuring that the dish is never empty by taking care of the land and the creatures we share it with, and transforming our personal and institutional relationships. This meeting place is still home to many Indigenous peoples across Turtle Island, and we are grateful to have the opportunity to work and learn on this land. We urge you, as future Canadian healthcare practitioners and leaders, to acknowledge that it is our collective responsibility to strengthen our ties within the communities we serve and practice healthcare in a way that advances the Truth and Reconciliation Commission's 7 health-related recommendations and practice your profession in that spirit. So today, firstly, we do want to congratulate you on receiving an offer of admission. I'll just quickly be going over how to accept your offer, what a provisional offer is, and what to do for it, fulfilling your health requirements, and then highlighting some important upcoming dates. So first things first is accepting your offer. You'll have to log into your OCAS account and accept the offer there. Everything else is now done on self-service. You'll be filling out your attestation, accepting your offer, and then paying your tuition deposit, all within self-service. All of that has to be done by the May 31st deadline. It's important to note that for anyone for cardiovascular perfusion, everything will be done through self-serve only, so you'll skip to the second part. So accepting your offer through OCAS, you then sign on to self-service and head to the Admissions and Acceptance of Offer tab. The first thing you'll see is the step 1, review and accept the post-admission requirements. You'll click Attest Now to review and agree with specific post-admission requirements. You'll be redirected to the post-admissions requirements attestation form, and then you proceed to go through all the required fields. Each post-admission requirement can be agreed on by either typing your full name or drawing your signature. Then you select Take Me to Michener Self-Service and then hit Submit. It should redirect you back to self-service, which may take a few seconds. You might be required to sign in again once you do get redirected. Now in the Acceptance of Offer tab, you'll see Step 2, Confirm Program Choice, where the active offers you receive will automatically be listed. You can then select which one you'll be accepting. If your tuition is sponsored, you let us know the company name in the field here. Finally, you select the date you're filling out the form and then hit I accept. After accepting your offer, the last thing you need to do is pay your deposit, which is the third step under the Acceptance of Offer tab. After you select Pay Now, you want to select the term you'll be starting. So for example, 2026 fall. You enter in the deposit amount yourself. If you're a domestic student, the deposit is $500, and if you're an international student, the deposit is $1,500. Please make sure to hit Make Payment so you get redirected for payment to a third-party provider. Okay, another thing, oh, sorry. Okay. So for provisional offers, you'll want to check your offer letter for ARQP status. This means it's provisional. Official transcripts are needed, so they'll be sent electronically directly from your previous institution to admissions@michener.ca. We do not accept electronic transcripts from you guys. Unfortunately, it does need to come directly from your university, so you'll need to request from them. And the deadline is July 15th, 2026. Okay, sorry guys, one moment. Okay, another thing due in July are the health requirements on the 31st. A list of them is on self-service under Checklist, My tab, My Tasks, and then you upload them under Checklist, Health Documents. The list of My Tasks doesn't get updated until Health Requirement Review or Health Services reviews and approves the uploaded documents. So it's not an indication of whether you've submitted them or not. So don't worry if you uploaded them and it's still there. If you have any questions about certain health requirements or the upload process, please reach out to healthservices@michener.ca or attend the Health Requirements webinar May 28th, 2026 from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. All right, we also want to invite you guys to an exclusive event for students who received an offer of admission called Choose Michener on May 20th, 2026, 10 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Registration is open now, and event details will be sent out on Tuesday, May 19th. Okay, we did throw a lot of important dates and deadlines at you, so we wanted to put it all together. You guys can feel free to take a picture of this. So in May, we have the Choose Michener event on the 20th. We have the Health Requirements webinar on May 28th. And then we have the deadline to accept your offer, which is May 31st. In June, we have a webinar for financial aid on the 4th. And then in July, we have the deadlines to meet the conditions of your provisional offer on the 15th. And to upload your health requirements is July 31st. So before we go to general Q&A, we wanted to let you know that there are virtual one-on-one drop-in sessions with our admissions team called Ask Me, where you can meet with someone and ask specific questions about your situation that we didn't cover. There are every Friday from 1 p.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, we also offer Student Ambassador one-on-one advising sessions. Justin, our second-year medical lab student, shared why he chose Michener, his program, and the benefit of the one-on-one advising session. Okay, unfortunately, I don't think I can jump to this video at the time, but this will be uploaded and you guys can click on the link as well as scan any of the QR codes. And then this is the QR code here to book your one-on-one advising appointment. Okay, so for the general Q&A, we'll hand it over to our facilitator. Please message your questions in the chat and she'll read them out. But before that, we just wanted to kind of highlight which questions you have and who they'll be directed to. So registrar's office, um, we have anything for registrations, schedules, fees, and financial aid will all go to reg office at michener.ca. For admission status and conditions, you'll want to email admissions@michener.ca. We do have a phone as well, and that's open Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Health services, they have the phone number as well with an extension 3320, but you can also email them at healthservices@michener.ca. And that's anything related to your health requirements, which does include the vulnerable sector check. And then we have residents. If you're interested in Michener's residents, then we do have a phone that you can call with extension 3345, residents@michener.ca. And then Student Success Network, which will tell you about the gym, and student life in general, which is success@michener.ca. This is also where you'll be getting your student cards too. Anything related from, accommodations, learning supports, and student life and services. Okay. I'm just going to open the chat here. Okay. So can everyone, I'm not sure if I can see the general chat here.
We have
I
a
think I can.
few people, Lily, who've asked questions in the Q&A, and some of them are really great. One
Unfortunately, I can't see them. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
you can't say that's okay. I can read one aloud, just because it's a great question. It's
Yeah.
not about accepting your offer, but it's they want to know regarding pausing and resuming the program once it's started. For example, if I started my respiratory therapy year one and decide to pause year two, is that something possible, or would it count as dropping out? That one, I mean, you'd have to talk to your program about that, but it is important for everyone to know that Michener follows a model route, so all of the courses are taken at the same time as everyone else in your cohort. So if you would need to take a leave of absence for some, personal reason, and it's approved by the program, you'd have to start like a year later. You couldn't just pick up at, the next available semester. So doesn't necessarily mean dropping out. You'd have to formally have a leave of absence, but it is possible. Just know that you'd have to be back on track the following year.
Thank you, Lauren. Also adding to that, that's basically something that once the student is admitted, it's directly done with the program chair, as admissions doesn't, it's not involved in such process. So after the student is admitted, if they have any kind of request for leave of absence, this needs to be requested directly to the program chair, and also the approval, it's subject to approval and also to seek availability. So just to keep in mind.
And someone asked a question. I can see it now, sorry. Someone asked a question. So for the genetics technology program, it says that CPR BLS is required for clinical only and due by July 15th in year one. Does this mean that someone going into the course needs to have their CPR BLS certification prior to starting in September? So no. Academic years are from the fall to the end of the summer. So when it says that it's due by July 15th in year one, technically this is the summer, what will it be? Summer 2027 will count as your year one. So you'll just need to get it before then. Lauren, I see you answering that one. And then Catherine, I see you for the first link. Perfect. So clinical placements, I can answer this one. The clinical placements are not paid positions. Um, you are working under somebody else's license, so they're not paid. It's strictly for your learning and the benefit of being in practice. And then once you have, so someone asked, once we have accepted the offer and paid the deposit, is there a place for us to find out how much tuition is left to pay before the August deadline, such as an invoice? So yes, it is. It's also available on Michener self-service at any time. There is a finances tab and you'll be able to see the statement there, and it will give you a breakdown of how much you've paid, so your deposit, and then the remaining amount due.
Thank you for everyone who has joined. So I have also added in the chat a link to the newly admitted students webpage. So for example, in that webpage, you will be able to find all the timelines for the different activities after you get admitted, like which day will be the tuition fees posted, which is scheduled to be released by July. Also the different deadlines for OSAP and also when the schedules are expected to be released. So if you want any kind of information, you can also visit the newly admitted website, and you will be able to find also the different contact for information for the different departments that will be able to assist you with any question you can have.
That's so amazing. Thank you, Catherine. Okay, so I see someone here has a question about follow up with the pausing and starting. Would I be able to pause for 1 year with that exception? Um, is there anyone from the admissions team that would be able to type an answer for that?
No, as mentioned previously, so it will depend case by case basis. And also this is something that the student will need to discuss directly with the program chair. So admissions doesn't oversee that part for the people who needs to take a leave of absence.
Perfect, thank you. And yes, for the timetable and courses, I see that, Catherine, you've answered as well. But for the timetable and courses, because our class sizes are so small, there isn't multiple options for your courses. So you'll be taking the same ones with the rest of your class. So there's no, there won't be anything you won't get an email saying this is your time to register for courses. You'll get your timetable and the courses, yes, early August. Okay, and someone asked, can you please clarify if we need to reach out to our past institutions for the confirmation of admission requirements to be sent to Michener, or if it is something that happens automatically between the institutions? We need to request? So you will need to request. This would be if one of your prerequisites was maybe in progress when you apply to Michener. So now that you've completed all your courses, you will need to get a complete transcript sent from your institution to Michener. They won't do this automatically. They're not aware of where you've applied, and they're not aware of any outstanding requirements that you do have for Michener's admission. So the onus is on the student to then reach out to their current or their host institution to have a transcript and any other information sent directly to us. Okay, and someone is asking about transfer credits. Does Michener offer any transfer credits where some of these courses were taken in our university program? Can these be used to fulfill the Michener program requirements? So I definitely can speak on this. I'm not sure if it's changed, but there are a specific subset of courses that can be used as a transfer credit to Micheners. Not all of them can be, though, because the ones at Micheners, they're very specific to your program. So things that can maybe be transferred are an anatomy and physiology course, you would have need to be taken an anatomy course and a physiology one to have the transfer credit for our one course that we offer at Michener, which is anatomy and physiology. And then the other one is research methods and statistics. So that one you'll need to have, again, one course that was dedicated for research methods and another one dedicated for statistics, just to fulfill the one course that we offer here at Michener called Research Methods and Statistics. So you'll need to submit two courses for each of those one. There are also specific ones. More information can definitely be found on the website. But for MedLab, I believe there's one. We only offer transfer credits for our direct entry programs as well. For our master's level course, which is cardiovascular perfusion, there are no transfer credits for that. Someone asked, are there instances where students don't end up getting a placement within their program? So no, clinical placements are found by the clinical liaison officer at Michener. Um, you will you will get a clinical placement once you're a student here. Would someone from the admissions team be able to speak more on deferring an offer?
Yeah, we don't really do deferrals unless there's an extenuating circumstance. If there is one, you're welcome to submit a letter requesting deferral to admissions@michener.ca. But it's not something that we typically do. So yeah, if there's an extenuating circumstance, please do reach out to us.
And then someone has asked if I accepted the offer for a program at the end of May and later got accepted to another program off the wait list, would I have to pay the deposit again for the new program, or would I be able to use the deposit from the first program? So you'll be able to use the deposit from the first program. You would just need to email the registrar's office so that we can reallocate the deposit for one program to the new one. And sorry, I can answer this. Sorry, I can answer this one too. Regarding the pausing program, have students in one program been able to transfer into another Michener program? For example, if an MLS student wants to do RT and they apply and get accepted to that program after doing a year in MLS, will some credits be transferred? So in this case, no. There's no overlapping courses between RT and MLS. Um, where there might be one is, I believe, for MRI and RT, they both take anatomy and physiology, and that would be the only course. But for the most part, like each program at Michener, their courses are and their curriculum are so specific to that program that there's not an opportunity for transfer credits. So you'll need to start from the year one. And then someone has a specific question about, as a diagnostic cytology student, would you be able to take up the CAMLPR for general MLT as well in the future? If yes, could you please provide information about the eligibility or a bridging course to take up the exam? Is there anyone who would be able to answer or speak on that?
Yeah, well, so our programs, so CamelPer is the new licensing body in Ontario for MLTs. It used to be CSMLS. So our programs you do lead to licensure. So if you were to complete the diagnostic cytology or the genetics technology, you would be able to write your licensing exam through CamelPer. When it comes to the nitty-gritty about the different disciplines, that would be a question for either the program, if you are able to come to choose Michener event, or you can even reach out to CamelPer specifically. But typically, you would not need to do a bridging program afterwards. That's usually for internationally educated MLTs who want to get licensed in Canada.
Um, okay. Thank you so much, Lauren. Um, so someone is asking, I've received my receipt for the deposit, however, I have not yet received a confirmation of my acceptance. So confirmation of acceptance, if I'm not mistaken, happens you don't get a confirmation of acceptance. Once you pay your deposit, you're in.
Exactly. So you're not going to get any additional confirmation about your admission. So once you receive the payment, the receipt payment from our records and registration team, that means that you have been admitted into the program and that we have received your deposit and your seat is secure.
Thank you. And then someone has asked, where do you submit the vulnerable sector form? So you submit the vulnerable sector form. I'll just go back a bit. You submit it where your health requirements go. So it is considered a health requirement. So it's checklist and then health document upload. And if you have any specific questions regarding this, you would be sent to healthservices@michener.ca. But they also have a webinar on May 28th for any questions that you may want to ask. And then the second part of this person's question was, once I've completed all the steps in self-service and paid the deposit, is there a way to check if my program of choice has been confirmed? So where you do your program choices here. So once you fill this out and you say which one your form is for, and then through this you go to the third party, your deposit will be directed to which program that you have selected.
Also, you can check your OCAS portal and you will see which offer you have confirmed for your program. That's another resource you can use. And then if you want to be 100% sure, you can always email us and we will be able to confirm for which program we have received your confirmation.
Thank you, Catherine. Someone asked if there's any specific program orientation, such as for cardiovascular perfusion, to answer questions such as placement selection, course descriptions. Yes, there absolutely is. Orientation happens in the last week of August. There will be more details on that later, but yes, you'll be able to, first of all, meet everyone, and then you'll be able to speak to your program liaisons as well for first year, and they'll kind of give you the rundown for how everything looks, and it gives you a good opportunity to ask any questions. And then someone is asking if there's a specific uniform required for each program. You're an ultrasound student and was wondering if there's a specific set of scrubs that need to be worn. So there is specific scrubs that you do get. You may get one or two pairs, it depends. And then for any of the medical laboratory sciences, you'll get a lab coat. It is in your tuition. Um, and then your program coordinators will reach out later to ask about sizes and everything. So for at least for my program, we did get one set of scrubs for respiratory therapy. And if we had two lab days, we were expected to have those scrubs on for the majority of the time. But really it's just any scrubs that you have to fill in the rest, like between laundry or anything. It's just scrubs are good. They'll also go over that with you in your program's orientation. And then are the locations of clinical placement usually where students end up working after graduating, or is that not something that usually happens? I can say that that depends entirely on your base sites. For example, Some of my class got sent to Toronto Western, and they specifically opened a number of full-time positions for the students that they had. So 3 students were sent there, 3 full-time positions got opened, and they had the opportunity to apply. For me, though, at my base site, they were not offering any full-time positions, but I was able to secure a full-time job elsewhere at a different clinical site. So sometimes you do end up working where your clinical placement is, sometimes you don't. It's good as well just to approach each site as aside from your base site. It's good to approach each one as a good opportunity to see the different environments, see the different cultures, and see what you like and where you want to be. Someone asked, are all clinical placements for the chiropody program located within the GTA, or is there a possibility of being placed outside the GTA? So for all our programs, we do say that all of Ontario is open for where you'll be for clinical placements. For chiropody, so specifically chiropody, yeah, it would not just be within the GTA. Now there is an option for students who do have to relocate to elsewhere for their clinical placement. There is a clinical relocation bursary that is available to them. You would just have to apply, and then more information about that can definitely be asked in the financial aid webinar that we have. If course credits are transferred, are there chances for us to still attend the lecture and access course materials to ensure our knowledge is refreshed? Yes, absolutely. You can request to audit the course, and that would just be done by emailing the registrar's office. After your transfer credit has been approved, they ask you to please just respond to them saying that you would like to audit. And then someone has asked, are students able to work at Michener? So I did actually have a position I also work in the registrar's office. Um, so there is opportunities for employments. There's also opportunities to work front desk with facilities. There's opportunities to be a resident don as well. Um, and then orientation coordinator is actually a position that you guys can't apply for this year because you'll be attending orientation. But in future years, it's a contract position that can be opened up as well. So there is opportunities to work. More information about that can be found through the Student Success Network. Okay, so someone asked, is there a way to see what outstanding documents, health or course mark transcript related needs to be uploaded, or should we email the admissions or missional health services to confirm that everything has been submitted? So for your health documents, when you do actually submit it, it'll say documents received. Like I mentioned, the checklist of your tasks won't be updated until everything you've uploaded has been approved. Once you upload everything, health services will reach out to you if there's an issue. If not, when they approve it, you'll see it disappear. Um, but that checklist is not an indication of successful upload. It's an indication that they have been approved. For your course mark or transcripts, so for those admission requirements, you don't need to email the admissions team to confirm that they got it. Once you submit the inquiry to your host institution, they will generally confirm with you when it has been sent out, and then we will have received it. Uh, Someone asked, they're going into RT and have completed the anatomy and physiology course offered by Michener. I can get credits for it transferred over and thus do not need to do it in first year. Um, so I don't, yeah, you'd be able to apply for a transfer credit, but you'd have to await for official approval that it has been accepted as a transfer credit, but you're absolutely welcome to submit it and apply. Okay, someone asked You'll be informed which clinic or hospital we are assigned to for clinical placement. Is there a list of clinics or hospitals? So no, there's not an official list of clinics or hospitals. They change year by year depending on what the hospital can accommodate. Um, there's not an official list. You will get more information on your clinical placement typically in the summer before it does occur. So and it'll be by your program will communicate that to you. At what point of the admission process should we look into the transfer credits from our past courses, and how do we go about doing that? Um, so I'm not sure if Lucas, were you working on transfer credits for a bit as well, or no? I could be mistaken.
Yes, I worked for a
Okay.
little bit. So sorry, could you just repeat the question, please, Lily?
Yeah, so someone's asking about the transfer credit process. I know what it was last year. I just don't know if it's changed at all since you've been on the project.
Yeah, everything regarding transfer credit needs to be sent by mail to the reg office, and then Miranda's going to take a look case by case, and they will contact the students. So they need to email reg office for anything related to transfer credit.
Okay, perfect. So there's still the transfer credit form that we're using.
Yes.
Okay, great. So you would just need to fill out the transfer credit form, and then what we need from you is the course outline from the year that you took the course. So we don't accept, like, if you can only find the course outline from 2025, that's not the year you took the course. You'll need to reach out to the institution to get the course outline from the term and year that you took the course. So we would need that. We would need official transcript if we do not have it already, and then we would need the form, and then we would assess later in August, and you'll get notified then whether they'll be approved or not. Someone asked, do MLS students need to get any specific equipment, such as lab coats or specific scrubs before the program begins or labs? So yes, I believe you guys get lab coats. Anything relating to that your program coordinator will reach out in August to you guys. But you don't need to get anything from a third party. It would be through them. So you don't need to purchase anything right now. Um, So someone said, I noticed the MRI program is accredited with conditions expiring in 2027, I believe. What would this mean for the incoming cohort of fall 2026? Is this just a procedural step until the first class graduates and begins working? Yes, it is. So MRI is one of the newer full-time programs. Specifically, the first discipline is one of the newer programs at Michener. So you're correct. It's just a procedural step until the first class of graduates begins working.
And I can give great news. Our first cohort did graduate and did write their licensing exam and passed with flying colors, the great passing rate. And so we're quite confident the following cohorts will. And it is something that all of our accreditation, all programs accreditation do expire, and they have to be reviewed every so often. That's how the procedure works. But yeah, we're quite pleased with our new cohort.
Thank you, Lauren. That's so exciting. Um, so someone has asked, I've been accepted into the MRI program and may be able to use this diploma afterwards to practice as an MRI tech in the US. Does Michener help with the process of being certified? Um, so Michener will fill out any forms or anything that you require. You just have to email Reg Office. That being said, the onus is on the student to find out what those requirements are from the governing or from the college or the overseeing regulatory body in the US. Okay, if there's any requiring form left from our end, would health services reach out to us, letting us know that there's something missing in terms of proof? So yes, let's say you submitted a form and there's some health requirements missing, they'll reach out to you and ask specifically, or you can reach out to them as well. I would definitely speak to them if you do anticipate that. I would definitely go to their webinar on May 28th just to get some more information about the process for that. And then sorry, on application, the cardiovascular perfusion program said all of Ontario is open for placement. When I accepted, there's a note that says all of Canada could be open for placement. Could I be sent to PEI? So it is a possibility. For cardiovascular perfusion, I believe what happened is the regulatory body has revised its competencies that you need. And so just due to the number of cases and the number of clinical sites available within Ontario, um, there may be a possibility for you to be sent to like a specialty hospital outside of Ontario, if needed. Is there anyone who would be able to speak on writing certification exams for genetic technology or cytology as an MLS student?
Sorry, unfortunately, I wouldn't be able to comment on that one, but that would be a great question. If you can come to the Choose Michener event, you'd be all the faculty there are, licensed MLTs as well, so they'd be able to help you navigate that.
And then someone asked when do I register for courses? So you won't need to register for your courses because we are small classes. Your schedule is made for you. There's not two different times where the same course is offered within a semester. So you'll receive your timetable in August. You don't need to register for your courses. And then someone has asked, are placement locations determined by students' residence? So no, it's not. It is lottery. You will get to rank where you would prefer, but it's lottery. It's not based on where you are. When are students usually placed for genetic technology placements? It occurs in the summer before your placement. I believe one of, yeah, I believe someone who I know in genetics technology is still awaiting their clinical placement, so it should occur this month. In cases where students have family commitments or restrictions, is there flexibility to request a different clinical placement location? That would be mainly between the student and the clinical liaison officer of your program. When should we submit the transfer credit request by? You can submit it anytime. It just goes to, you just email, like I said, the transfer credit form, the course outlines from the term and year that you took the course, and we need the official transcript if we don't have it already. So let's say you took a course this past semester that you're trying to submit for a transfer credit, but it's not part of your admissions requirements. We still need the official transcript then, so you would need to submit that as well. For genetics tech, what's the difference between the summer semester and fall semester of second year? Um, Sorry, I'm not entirely sure what.
In the
Yeah,
model
sorry.
route, if you look at so what it will be is so you'll start in fall 2026 and then you have so fall semester, winter 2027, summer you go right through. Summer semester 2027 is your simulation clinical education, where then fall 2027 is the actual clinical education. And it all wraps up, it'll be wrapping up in March of 2028. So uh a total of for clinical education, I think it's a total of is it 31 weeks, I believe in total. But yeah, over the course of the 2 semesters.
Thanks, Lauren. If anyone's starting respiratory therapy as well, I'm a graduating respiratory therapy student, and Cynthia, who has just completed her first year in respiratory therapy. She's also here if you have any questions. Someone asked, could you summarize the process of applying to a residence and who to contact for applying? Also, is there more than one residence? So I can only half answer this. I apologize. I'm not sure of the process of applying to residence, but there is residence at michener.ca as a contact. There is not more than one residence. Michener just has the one residence building called Chats Hall.
Adding to what Lily has mentioned, there is also an application that if you are interested in applying for residence, you need to fill out, and the deadline is June 15. So if you visit our newly admitted website, you will be able to find the link as well the contact information for the residence team that take care of that part, and find also more information about the residence at Michener. Thank you.
Um, Someone asked, perhaps this is a question for the May 28th event, but I've spoken to a few RTs and MRI techs, and I've gotten sentiments about an oversaturated market. Would anyone be able to comment on this from a job security perspective? Um, so I mean, like any job market, there are waves. It comes and goes, but I wouldn't say that. I mean, it's healthcare. I wouldn't say that you have difficulty finding a job. Where that is, what it looks like, it may differ. Year to year, I can say at least for my class, we didn't have an issue. Yeah, I don't know what it'll look like 3 years down the road. But I will say that there's always, yeah, and I see Cynthia's answer as well.
Yeah, I would say, actually, let me check. Are you able to hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so I would definitely say that you're able to start early as well with getting sort of clinical experience. So externships are open for those who have a completed first year or those who are completing their second year. So if you wanted to get a head start on just understanding what the job market looks like and talking to more these who are currently working, it's always an option for you to do during the summer after your first year or during your second year as well.
Someone asked, are you only able to gain access to my Michener after accepting your offer on my service? So no, this is a separate timeline from
Lily, I'm
Yeah,
sorry to
sorry.
interrupt for just a moment. We've just noticed that your microphone has started to make a bit of an echoing sound, and I'm wondering if there's a chance that maybe you could try unplugging it and plugging it back in, and we'll see if that improves the sound.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
Is this any better?
Yes, that's much better. Thank
Much
you.
better.
Okay, amazing. Thank you guys. No, thank you so much. Uh, Sorry, someone asked, are you only able to gain access to my Michener after accepting your offer on my service? So no, that it is a separate timeline. So the registrar's office will reach out to you separately, and will give you your credentials to access my Michener and your Outlook email as well. So it is separate from accepting your offer. And yeah, I believe Catherine is adding a sentiment as well. Thank you, Catherine. Um, Someone is asking for the perfusionist program. Is the breakdown similar? Courses in fall, winter, summer, then placement for final 2 semesters. And what is the hybrid delivery like? So hybrid delivery, oh, sorry, I realized my camera came off. For hybrid delivery, That just means that you'll have your lectures online, but for labs will be in person. More details about your course, your timetable, what exactly your semester entails, will be released in August. But as far as your model route goes, it will be courses fall, winter, summer. Yep, then placement for your final 2 semesters, so fall and winter. Does Michener have a frosh with different events designed for incoming cohorts beside the Choose Michener event? Absolutely. Choose Michener event is not your orientation. It's just a chance to come to Michener, see what the labs are like, see the site, see what's available to you as a student at Michener. Your orientation will happen in the last week of August, and more details will be sent about that. So someone is going into respiratory therapy and has a question about transfer credits. I heard physiology and anatomy can be transferred. I've taken 3 physiology courses at university. I was wondering if anatomy one also. Yes, you absolutely need to take an anatomy one. They won't accept 3 physiology ones, unfortunately. So you do need a set one course dedicated to anatomy and another course dedicated to physiology, um, to be eligible for the transfer credit of anatomy and physiology. So you still have summer school and could take anatomy. Um, the thing the thing with that is that you would need to have the course finished by when your transfer credits are assessed. And the transfer credit deadline, I believe, will be uh, mid-August, towards the end of August. So you would have to finish the anatomy course by then and have the transcript available to show that you completed, show your grade by the time that they're assessed. Okay, for MLS students, after the clinical ends and when we get possible job offers within our clinical placement, are these offers only valid till we write our licensing exams and be licensed MLTs? Um, I know for respiratory therapy, we have like a graduate respiratory therapy license. That's not quite a registered one. They're anticipating that we will pass. I don't know if there's one similar for MLTs, but I'm starting work in June and my licensing exam is July. Can you comment on the job outlook for the medical laboratory science program? Unfortunately, I can't. Is there anyone else that can?
Uh, Not personally, but I think again, I think that's another reason why we're having the Choose Mitchell event is because we know that applicants have these sorts of questions and accepting an offer is a very big decision. So we really hope you can make it on May 20th because then you can talk to the faculty and you'll be meeting students as well who are actually, I'm sure some of them are going to be in their last year applying for jobs. You'll get a really good sense of it out there. But also, Michener has a pretty strong reputation. We have a very strong reputation in the hospital networks around here. So our graduates do have a very high employment rate after graduation.
Thank you, Lauren. Um, Someone's asking, does the TB need to be done within a certain time frame or is any previous TB skin valid? So that would definitely be a question for health services. I'm sorry. I believe they require one within the last 1 or 2 years. So if you have one from like 5 years ago, I can tell you that they won't accept that. Um, but I would definitely reach out to health services about if you do have one within like 1 or 2 years that you're hoping to use.
I think we are done with all the questions and we are done with the time for the webinar. So if anyone have any additional question, you can drop it in the chat. Thank you so much, Lily, Jason, Lauren, Lucas, Kevin, and everyone who has joined us today. And again, congratulations for your offer of admissions. If you have any questions regarding the condition of your offers, you can reach out to us at admissions@michener.ca. And if you have any questions related to health services, please reach out to healthservices@michener.ca, or you can also join our webinar on May 28th. We are also having a financial aid webinar on June 4, where you will be able to ask any questions related with OSAP or any financial bursary scholarships that you may be interested in get an answer. But you can also reach out to our financial aid officer by emailing the registrar's office. Saying with credit transfer, everything related with credit transfer, you can reach out to our registrar's office at regoffice@michener.ca.
Thank you, Catherine. Thank you for everyone for coming and asking great questions. Please feel free to reach out anytime. Uh, okay, I can answer this one quickly. So for respiratory therapy placements, do they only take place in hospitals, or are there other program locations, such as rehab centers or nursing homes? Um, so for respiratory therapy specifically, there are 7 different types of environments that we have to complete clinically. Things like OR, ICU, wards, and there is a rehabilitation opportunity. Your base site will always be a hospital. ICU and wards will take up the majority of it, but there is like 3 weeks of OR. There is 2 weeks of rehabilitation. Um, so you definitely get a feel for all of the different environments, and there's a week in home care as well. Someone asked how many students are typically in the CVP program. I don't know if I think there were 25 in the previous cohort, but number of students per cohort changes every single year based on funding. Yeah, mainly based on funding.
Thanks again, everyone, for joining. Yep, we really hope to see you all at Choose Michener on May 20th. It's going to be a great event. I'd love to put some faces to these names. Congratulations on your offer. We're going to end the webinar now. So take care, everyone. Hope to see you soon.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks for coming out, everyone.
Thank you. Take care.
Thank you.